Welcome, everybody. We're back with another episode of ChimpChat. I am Jeff Kostick of Flying Chimp Media. We are joined today by RJ Martino of Martino Marketing Solutions. RJ is a serial salesman. He's a relationship salesperson with a resume that's really, really impressive, with a lot of sports and professional sports teams and that sort of stuff. Welcome to the show, RJ.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Outstanding. All right, so let's talk about what everybody wants to talk about, which is COVID-19 and coronavirus and how that's impacting both your business and more importantly, your client businesses. So first of all, what have you seen with your clients and what they've done to either pivot in the past, what they're doing now, or what they're doing to kind of change what they're planning on in the future?
Sure. Good question. Being in sports and event management, it's obviously taken a huge toll on everyone, concerts, sporting events, and any networking event, in-person event has been very challenging, obviously. I think where the business has been flowing is really, because no one has the answers right now. So the business has really been flowing to what are our strategies, best case scenario when we get back up and running so that we can still be engaging to our clientele, but also provide value for folks. So a lot of virtual, obviously, a lot of virtual events where we're trying to create, for example, with the national championship game, rather than doing a kickoff luncheon or a golf event, we were trying to make that a little bit more value added with virtual opportunities for people to be able to connect with each other, really more of a streamlined agenda for people to connect and drive business. So goal of going to a luncheon, not necessarily to have lunch. It's to be able to meet people and to be able to share your story, shake some hands back in the day. Now it's become more along the lines of, these are my goals. This is who I am. This is what we provide. And we want to be able to share those opportunities with folks who may be able to take advantage of our services. So it's really connecting and having a plan so that folks can get some ROI off of these events.
Sure. So let's talk specifically about, the national championship game. You're in charge of all group sales and suites for the national championship game in Miami that's coming in 2021.
Right.
What are you seeing? What are you hearing with regard to that's still happening? I mean, what are the fears? What are the contingencies that people are making to ensure that this huge event for both the city of Miami, but also, the entire country are going to go off properly and well?
Sure. So a lot of those answers are undetermined. Obviously the NCAA and the specific divisions, SEC, ACC conferences, they have to make the decisions of whether they're going to play football or play sports tied in with the governors of each state. So I think we're optimistic that we'll be able to play. We'll have different restrictions. Obviously, safety and wellness is going to be number one concern until a vaccine is created. So I know I've heard with the Hard Rock Stadium, they're reducing the amount of folks that are going to be able to attend events. Particularly the Dolphins games and Canes games. So hopefully as things progress with the vaccine, we'll continue to be safe. Wellness is important. So making sure staff is fully masked and has everything from a sanitization standpoint. I think that's going to be a top priority, number one. And then reduced seating so that people do have an area around them that open seating. It's going to be very interesting. I have to say, it's going to be unprecedented waters here for how sports and entertainment, concerts, events are going to be run.
Sure. Well, I mean, if you look at it, they just announced that Broadway is going to stay dark through, I think, September is what I read late yesterday. So, I mean, clearly we're now dating exactly when this was filmed. So, because when it versus when it airs. So, but realistically, I think that we've never seen what's happening and people's comfort level and the idea of entertaining clients, because obviously a big part of what you sell when you're going to corporations and you're selling those suites and those group sales is the idea to entertain clients and to have it be a hospitality-based marketing event, which clearly that I believe heavily in. So what are you talking about to assuage people about their fears about whether that's still going to be a viable marketing tool in the bag come February or really January, but I guess it might get pushed off into February. What does that look like?
Sure. Well, I think from our side, we're trying to strategize and get the tactics together so that we're really providing value for folks. So again, these lunches, the events that we're putting together are more functionable. And I think people are going to be, our game plan is that people are going to be a little bit more selective of what events they go to. So if it doesn't provide the value that they're looking for, the content that really is something that they can learn from, as well as connect with fellow, like folks, like-minded people that can really help them grow their business and have a flow, like I said, of being able to drive those results. I don't think people are going to go, at least initially. So I think from a standpoint of events, cleanliness, sustainability, all those good things are still going to happen. But I think having a strict agenda so that maybe there's keynote speakers that are live, but yet at the same time, maybe there's pre-recorded speakers that will be put on to more of a hybrid effect of events as far as lunches and networking. As far as games and concerts, I think that's wide open. I don't think anybody really knows the answers to that question right now. I think people and facilities are really trying to put together wellness, health, and just making sure people are healthy upon approval from the governors to be able to open up.
So are you seeing anything from the actual clients themselves? Are the business owners, the managing partners at the law firms, those sorts of people that are buying those suites, are they expressing any concerns, or they're just sort of doing a wait and see as well?
I think it's more of a wait and see. Most of the folks right now are just trying to keep their companies alive and keep their staff working and employed. So I think right now it's a wait and see. The majority of what I've been doing over the last couple of months has really been just connecting, being human. I think it's been the biggest thing of reaching out. What can I do to help you? Anything that you need, just trying to reach out to people with a phone call, just to make sure that everybody's doing well. And if there's anything that I can do to help, that I'm here for you. I think that's the biggest thing right now. Strategy wise, I think it's important for us to be ready for the game. We've got a lot of things that are going to happen before January 11th, 2021. It may be delayed. So one of the things that we've heard was a delay in the start of the season, and then the student athletes wouldn't get a December break was another thing, and then extend the season into February. So maybe a delay in the NCAA football season that'll end maybe in February, March.
Sure. And obviously then that impacts the NFL season because you don't want too much overlap in that capacity. So it really is it's again, unprecedented times. I mean, this happened 102 years ago. They didn't have, the national championship game 102 years ago with the same measure of gravitas and excitement. All right. So let's pivot and talk about one of your other clients, because I think it's an interesting one in this particular context, is the Neptune Society, and talk to me about what that is and what changes they've made from their marketing messaging given what's going on with COVID-19.
Yeah, great. So we talked about events rolling into Neptune. It's a pre-need cremation company. We're the oldest and largest cremations company in the country, actually started in California 47 years ago, working with veterans, and we moved to the East Coast. So we really sell peace of mind for people to know that upon their passing, everything has been taken care of. There's no burden on their loved ones. We've gone virtual. Everything's gone virtual. In the past, what's happened, we've gone into their homes and did a one-on-one presentation, answered questions, and really just kind of connected with them on a one-to-one basis with senior citizens typically. Now it's all virtual. Now we're online. We're on the phone. We're actually doing agreements through our portal that we have through SCI. So it's been really simple. Things have been really simplified for folks. They know what they want. And they have their credit card or their check, and basically walk through the process with them online, so that it can be DocuSigned and it's contactless. So it's been a lot more efficient, and I think people really appreciate it.
So what have you seen an increase in business as a result of what's going on? Have you seen it kind of flat because it's virtual, but people still want it more? Have you, what are you seeing from a business perspective on their end?
Yeah. I mean, as you know, unfortunately, there's it's a terrible time with people passing away from COVID. I think it's basically alarmed people to say, hey, I don't know when and I don't know where. That being said, I need to put some plans into effect. Have a will. Pre-need cremation is definitely a part of that process of what people need to make sure that there's no burden on their loved ones. So I've seen an increase. A lot more people are kicking the tires in some cases, but other folks that understand the importance of pre-need say, I just want to get this done. I want to lock in my price point right now and no additional fees. Everything's taken care of. So people see the importance, and you never know when, you never know where. I've heard that from so many people over the last couple months specifically, that, a lot of people in the past have said, when my day comes, we'll figure it out they'll figure it out when that happens. Nowadays, it's like, I want to plan. I don't want my kids or my wife or my spouse to have to worry about what to do upon that time.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I've always felt that things like pre-planning, whether it's cremation, funerals, but really your whole estate plan by definition, and your life insurance, these sorts of things are really some of the most selfless things that you can do for your family, because they don't benefit you. You're not the one who gets the benefit of the check you're about to write and the work and the energy that you're putting into. It's your loved ones that they don't have to deal with. So whether it's life insurance, you're never going to make that money if you die, and you get a life insurance, whether it's term or whole, or there's a whole plethora of other variations thereof. But, you don't get the benefit of that generally.
Yeah, it's for
your family does if something happens. Right. And it's really all those premiums you pay are to help somebody else. And so it's really, it's very kind of cool in that regard, in my opinion. It's kind of neat how those sorts of acts can really be some of the most selfless things that you can do. It's one of the best gifts that you can give somebody, that at the most difficult of their times, they don't have to deal with planning a funeral or cremation or any of those sorts of things. So
kind of worst days of your lives, and you're having to figure out, what casket or what's going to happen. You typically overpay. It's an emotional day, and again, one of the worst days of your life to have to make those decisions does not do well. And to your point, they say life insurance is for the living. So those are all good points.
Yeah. So interesting stuff. So what are you doing differently? You've obviously kind of touched into the idea that you're obviously not doing a lot of events. You're not, shaking hands and those sorts of traditional things. And you kind of moved to virtual. What are the things, and what are some of the things that you're advising your clients on that they can be doing to continue those relationships? One of the things I think that you've been so effective at in your career is you've really done a great job of developing relationships. In fact, you and I have chatted offline about, like, I know a guy. And you're usually that guy, to where, whether it's tickets, sporting event tickets, those sorts of things, you've always sort of had those connections, and you've been that person from a relationship perspective. What are you doing to develop new relationships? It's easy to continue the existing relationships virtually. That's a little bit easier. What are you doing to develop new relationships, if anything?
Yeah, it's a tough time right now for new business development, but I do think there's opportunities to continue to grow your business and strategize, so that when we get out of this, we're running, we're sprinting. I don't think it's a time to sit. I definitely believe in the fact that relationships is what gets us here. So warm introductions. LinkedIn is a really super powerful tool that I use daily to be able to connect with friends, with second connections, and BNI too is an excellent group of folks that we have trust. We like each other, and it allows us to be able to create some introductions to continue to grow the business. I think the phone calls and the emails that I have been making on the new business side have been talking a lot about COVID and how this is affecting their business. And a lot of people, unfortunately, furloughed staff or had to let go of staff. So I think being sensitive and being human is really the most important thing at this time. From a new business standpoint, if I can present value to people in certain industries, I think that's something that's powerful. Also, I think it's something that should be shared.
Awesome. So RJ, I cannot thank you enough for joining us. You've had a lot of great insight on how you've helped your clients and what you're doing from a sales perspective in the world. So here's the thing. You got 30 seconds. Go ahead and plug whatever it is you want to plug. Go for it. Rolling out the red carpet. Stare at that camera and tell us what you're doing.
I love it. My 30-second infomercial. Martino Marketing Solutions, based here in Plantation. My background, as Jeff said, has been in sports and entertainment over the years. So I have a nice experience of working for people and really with that giver's gain mentality of really listening, doing a proper needs analysis of what you need, and being that guy that can kind of bridge the gap of things that you may need that you may not have connections for. Being able to help with events, be it sporting events, concerts, tickets that you may want to attend, to be able to help drive new business, to be able to target new consumers directly. That's really what we focus on, is connecting brands with their targeted consumers. So I would say thanks again, Jeff, for having me. And if I can help anyone out there, or if anybody wants to give a call to talk, I'm here for you.
And we will definitely include your information in the YouTube in the YouTube content and below. So if you want to reach out to RJ, he's a pro. So thank you everybody for joining us today. Again, remember, be safe, be kind, pass the hat and help local businesses that have been affected by COVID-19. And we'll see you next time.